Welcome to Roll to Hit Gaming's Impressions. In this video, we conclude our three-part game showcase. We've gone into the box, through the rules, and out onto the table. The time has come to tell you what we thought of the game. Thank you for joining us. Let's head into the game room for your Roll to Hit Gaming Impressions host.
Hey folks, Chip Crawford from Roll to Hit Gaming. We're here for the Impressions video of Fjords. You've already seen the first look where we covered the components, rules, and setup. And then we've also done the playthrough, which if you haven't seen it, take a look. I thoroughly beat Lucas at the table, but he did roll that D20 for the first player, so there's something to be said there. Let's not wait. Let's get right into my impressions of Fjords from 2005. Starting with components, Fjords are good quality based on standards of the year that it was released, 2005. The tiles are sturdy and the farm and fields are standard wooden pieces. The box is small and the components take up very little room anyway, but making the box any smaller would have probably made it invisible on the store shelves. Still, it's a fair size to take along on travels, and if you're concerned about space, you can always safely bag it to save room. The rule sheet is small and fairly understandable. There was one discrepancy in my copy that the illustration for setting up the initial 3 hex tiles showed a mirror image of what was represented on the actual starting tiles. Board Game Geek only shows one English printing and a couple of German printings, so I don't know if that was an issue in the German rules. Other than that, the rule sheet is pretty easy to follow, and the overall rules of Fjords are not that difficult to grok. As for gameplay, Fjords is very similar to Carcassonne. Players draw random tiles and find a place where that tile can be played, and then decide whether or not they want to build a farm on the tile they just placed. Placing farms is really the fundamental decision in Fjords, as the number available is limited to 4, and because later, during the area control portion of the game, the location of players' farms will determine where the fields can be laid to capture territory. In this way, Fjords offers a fundamental example of 3 well-known mechanics in hobby board gaming: that of tile placement, worker placement, if you consider the farms an abstract representation of workers, and area control later in the phase. That being said, there's not a lot more flavor added to those core mechanics. So I came to own Fjords about a year ago when I was looking through a geek list about Grail games. If you're not familiar with the term, a Grail game is a game that may be out of print or in some way difficult to acquire outside the scope of just running down to your local gaming store and picking it up off the shelf. I saw someone post Fjords and the box interested me, so I took a look at the BGG entry and thought it looked neat. I also noticed that it was not that expensive, so I added it to my want list and promptly forgot about it. Later that year, while preparing for the BGG Con math trade, I saw that someone was trading a copy, so I added it to my math trade and offered up some of the lighter games in my trade list. Lo and behold, I won Fjords in the trade. Next, it went up on my shelf and was again forgotten. Well, not forgotten, but during this time my friends and I were ramping up our hobby gaming, and with the influx of new and bigger games, Fjord just kind of sat there. When Lucas and I began making these videos, I saw it as an opportunity to take Fjords off my shelf of shame, that place in your game shelf that contains the games you've bought over a year ago but still haven't actually gotten to the table. I'm not sorry for picking up Fjords, but I'm also not exactly shouting from the mountaintop that you all need to run out and find your own copy. Neither is Lucas. Now, Lucas has not yet played Carcassonne, but he did express interest after playing Fjords with me in our playthrough video. I have played Carcassonne and much prefer it over Fjords. Here's some of my reasoning. The way that Fjords uses the hex tiles as opposed to square tiles is interesting, but it also makes it a lot more difficult because of the rule that you must place the tile adjacent to 2 other tiles. There were a number of times where Lucas and I went on a run of discards simply because the tile drawn wouldn't fit. Another thing that sort of turns me off on Fjords was the 3 rounds of play. It's not terrible, but it just seems too much for me. In my view, Fjords makes a fine filler game. No need to stipulate match play, just play until you get bored or till your other friends get there and you're ready to play something else. So, given all of that, I'm going to rate this game Fjords. I'm going to rate it a D6. It's not a D4. The game's not going to hurt you if you step on it in the middle of the night without shoes on, but it's really nothing to write home about. I'll play it if it's the only thing available or if somebody specifically requests it, but I'm probably not going to request it myself. And I talked to Lucas about it. He's kind of the same mindset. He'll play it, but it's not going to be his first choice or maybe even his third. So we do hope you've enjoyed the videos, and if you ever get a chance to play Fjords, go ahead and give it a shot. Like I said, it won't hurt you, but for us, this is definitely a D6. For Roll to Hit Gaming, I'm Chip Crawford, and this has been our impression of Fjords.
Thank you for joining Roll to Hit Gaming to see and hear our impressions of this game. Details of our dice rating system can be seen on your screen now. If you liked what you saw and want to see more, please click the like and subscribe button. Find us on Facebook and Twitter. Join in the conversation in the comments below. We'll see you next time, and as always, I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good.